Alright, what's up everybody? This is JJND and welcome to CG Market Watch Live. Alright, so I think there's a few news that we need to cover today. Significantly now at this current moment when I'm doing it live, the market is moving, which is very kind of interesting, I guess. I mean, this could be a corrective rally. So let's take a look and understand what had happened over the course of 2 days. And let's see whether this particular movement can be sustainable as well. All right, so let's begin. All right, so we are facing, this is the coin market cap, all right, and we're currently we just kind of went above 150 billion, right? It was 146 just this morning in Singapore. 24 hours volume, we're hovering at $22 billion. Perhaps the sell down has kind of just relaxed slightly, so I guess that's good news. BTC dominance is currently at 53.3%. I guess that it's kind of like a healthy percentage to look at. All right, and we are seeing some recovery right now in the market, and BTC has just went up by about 2.69% in the last 24 hours. And of course, BCH, which is kind of called BCH ABC now, it's up about 17.21%. In a very uncanny movement today, it's going up. Right, next thing. We're looking at different tokens right now, and we see different movements as well. I mean, you can see now that through US dollar, USDC, they're kind of heading down slightly as well. Tether is still up about 0.48%. All right, so people are still kind of bucking into Tether, haven't really made much move yet. Perhaps we will be going into certain BTC or certain odds very, very soon. So that's happening. All right, so the next thing we want to talk about is let's talk about Bakkt delayed, all right? And I think that's the first thing we want to talk about. Newsflash: New York Stock Exchange owner delays Bakkt futures to launch in 2019 in January. All right, so I think this particular news hit about last night in Singapore time. But the one thing I want to kind of just mention here is this. Is that let's say now that Bakkt has kind of delayed the news, all right? It kind of just meant that there's two particular reasons why they're delaying it. That's my own personal point of view, right? Number one, very simply, they feel that this is the best accumulation period because BTC now prices has tanked, right? And the prices is kind of low. So it's kind of like a good time for them to start stocking up so that when they start selling it in January or next year in 2019, they are ready, right? They have already got a lot of BTC in their custodial wallets. They are ready to distribute it. That's one. Now, the second reason why they're kind of delaying it is also partly because the sentiment is bad, right? So launching it now only kind of meant that they are using a stone to hit their own feet, right? Because if the sentiment is bad, no investors will come in, right? And we kind of know that Dow Jones, S&P 500, they all got ripped off the whole 2018 kind of gains, and that's what we're seeing, right? And if the whole entire stock market is suffering in that sense, what we could kind of understand right now is that this could have an impact on crypto market as well, as tech stocks also give up their gains. All right. In fact, Goldman Sachs also revised Apple's profit from 200 bill to about 180 right now. So this is already happening in the market. Okay, and that actually has an impact as well. So this is kind of like the reason why NYSE or Bakkt per se is kind of delaying a futures launch to 2019. But the interesting point to note here is that even when this was delayed, you realize it doesn't really have much impact on the market. And that was a very strange observation that I've made, is that why isn't there any impact, right? I mean, a lot of traders and investors or even speculators are focusing a lot on Bakkt, and we believe that with Bakkt coming in, we'll start moving the market and so on and so forth. But in fact, when Bakkt was delayed or news announcement went through that it was going to be delayed, it didn't really have much impact on the market. In fact, the market kind of recovered slightly, okay, which is really strange. So right now what we're seeing is that the market has just been going up and down, consolidating. In its whole entirety, no one knows where it's gonna be going next, all right? But one thing to note is that interestingly, of course, Tom Lee still stands firm on a $15,000 year-end Bitcoin's price forecast. I have no idea why is he so bullish on it, versus all the other analysts that are saying that bulls will only return next year, May Q2 in 2019, and that is strange, right? But it's happening, and that's the strangest thing that's happening. But anyway, Tom Lee, well, he said he's in an awkward transition. Okay, so anyway, he was featured in CNBC. He made a point, but if BTC were to head to $15,000, okay, it would mean that we need to go up by 250% in order to get there. Okay, and it's from now all the way to the end of 2018 to Christmas. There's not many dates left, and yeah, that's kind of strange. But anyway, the other news is quickly, US Justice Department also probes Tether for Bitcoin's price manipulation last year. And this is also happening right now at the current juncture. Alright, so not only is Department of Justice probing into Tether's fraud last year, potentially, you also have SEC that are probing into different ICO companies like Salt Lending and so on and so forth. Alright, so it's a two-pronged approach that's happening right now, and it's really, it actually brings about the kind of STO exchange or legitimacy of that we've been talking about. Introducing STO makes ICO so-called more legitimized, and that's already happening in the next wave. Okay, so that's what I personally believe will happen in the future. Alright. So anyway, Tom Lee says chill out, right? Crypto is the future. So he has been so bullish ever since the start of the year. He in fact also made a statement just now. I was reading it and I was kind of laughing at it. But he said $9,000 was a good price to buy in for 2018, right? So he actually made a lot of bullish statements about it. Okay, I wonder if he's really invested into it as well. Okay. Now, in other news, Bitcoin price claws back to 4,005, but further losses may lie ahead. Now, I'm not going to go in depth into the details of this article. You can read it out yourself, but I'm going to just reiterate this point into the charts later, just to show you and just discuss with you what it actually meant. All right. So now let's talk about the hash war. All right. This hash war is like the trade war between US and China back in the mainstream economy. We have this particularly in the crypto exchange world, which is the Bitcoin Cash SV and Bitcoin Cash ABC mining, right? And it has something to do it's heavily dependent on hash rate and of course mining power then. And the key question here is when the market do recover, the only people or group of people that can decide when BTC will start recovering is when the hash war ends and when the miner starts moving back to mining BTC. As straightforward as that. Now, this particular movement then is where we call the hash relay. Why? Because it's passing on a baton. So right now, some of the miners or mining pools are shifting from mining Bitcoin, okay, to mining BCH ABC, right, or Bitcoin Cash ABC. So this is like a relay. They're switching to that. Now, the only chance for the market to really pick up in terms of volume, for investors or institutional investors to feel more confidence in the market, is when we start shifting back again from mining Bitcoin Cash ABC back to mining Bitcoin, and therefore with that, the Bitcoin network will be better supported. Transaction costs on BTC will kind of go down, and therefore it will stabilize the whole entire cryptocurrency market. But as of now, the key question is when will the hash war ends? Will any more mining pools declare that they're going to be shifting some hash mining power or hash rate into mining BCH ABC? You know, they want to have a swift and decisive victory. They want to just eradicate Bitcoin Cash SV totally out from exchange. You see, if there's no adoption from the exchanges, Bitcoin Cash SV won't survive. All right. And I think Ryan did mention a few hypotheses about what we have been discussing yesterday as well, which is regarding how miners are putting in the emphasis, or how the bigger mining pools are trying to take over the hash rate of Bitcoin. So this is the point that we need to kind of understand. All right, the exchanges are disregarding SV, and it's already happening. And because their block size of 128 gigabyte, it actually takes a longer time to just mine a block. And the risk of delisting as well. So Kraken also mentioned that there are many red flags that traders should be aware of, and it's seen as a very extremely high risk investment. Okay, so Bitcoin SV, it's not gonna be listed on Kraken, and that's where they are saying. All right, so we need to kind of understand this is a situation when it comes to ABC and SV, and just bringing my analysis into the even more depth here. Okay, this is happening. All right, so it is currently 122x more expensive to transact on Bitcoin. So wait, this is not the one. Okay, so this is the mining pool that we need to look at. All right, so this is last 7 days Bitcoin Cash blocks mining, and this is the Bitcoin Cash block mining pool today. So you realize that BTC or Bitcoin.com has kind of taken a huge share of how BCH ABC is kind of mined. You know, if we get to 51%, would that actually mean that they have control of BCH Bitcoin Cash, ABC, right? And we do see bigger players via BTC, Npool, and BTC.com. Of course, most of us should know that Npool and Bitcoin.com actually belongs to Jinan Wu. So he has in fact shifted a lot of hash rate or mining power to mine BCH ABC. And interestingly, if you go and if you compare this particular chart with Bitcoin mining, you will kind of just be able to understand certain things as well. And Bitcoin fees relative to Bitcoin Cash, we can see Bitcoin fees are going up because there's less miners supporting the network right now, like what I mentioned. So we actually kind of introduce that fees or the transaction costs to us, right, as retailers in that sense. Now let me just go quickly to statistics to show you something. In fact, okay, so this is the main stats that you want to take note of this part. Okay, it is currently 81.3% more profitable to mine on Bitcoin. Now, this particular stats yesterday when I first saw it, it's at 140%. Currently, it's at 81%. Okay, a few hours ago, it was actually at 70%. So what it meant is that now miners actually realized, I mean, most of them should already know that when they are shifting their mining power to mining BCH, it's actually less profitable as compared to me mining BTC. And they are aware of it. But the key question here is, why are they still mining BCH ABC? Okay, so there are countless reasons that we can think of, but it's all hypothesis. Nothing is proven here. But I think the good thing that we need to kind of trace and track is whether this particular percentage keeps dropping. Now, it's also a good sign to tell us that if the statistics here keeps dropping in terms of profitability, it kind of meant that miners are also slowly shifting out from BCH ABC back into mining BTC. Alright, because now the discrepancy between mining BTC and BCH ABC is decreasing. Alright, so therefore it actually makes sense that when more miners start supporting the Bitcoin network, transaction costs go down, BTC network becomes more stable, cryptocurrency market in general, the sentiment will kind of improve as miners are shifting back towards BTC. But even as of now, as long as the hash war is still ongoing, we will not be seeing much volume coming in. We will not be seeing much movement coming in. Now, there are also rumors. There are also some people are saying that institutional traders or investors are actually dumping their BTC, and that's the reason why the volume dipped so heavily. And that could potentially really be the main reason why we kind of see the huge dip or huge dump. Now, shorters are also increasing, and I think a lot of people are really looking at when is the next pump, all right, when is the next rally. But my personal point of view is that any upside as of now are still a form of corrective rally. We won't be seeing much huge great movement. One reason why is, number one, volume is still lacking. Number two, we will need the market to be stabilized, all right? Meaning to say the network of BTC has to be stabilized, the whole cryptocurrency market sentiment has to improve, and miners have to start shifting back from mining BCH ABC back into mining BTC, and therefore stabilizing the network. All right, so these are the things that we need to see, the three main pointers before we can conclude that BTC volume is in. Institutional traders are more confident now, they are streaming in again, and then that coincides nicely with Bakkt launching in January, and therefore hopefully we have a sweet 2019 with some bullish movement from there. All right, so it's all about sentiment movement now, so therefore TA doesn't really have a huge impact on the market. So you need to understand these few pointers that's ongoing. All right, so very quickly I just want to cover some quick charts here, analysis. So this is BTC on 4 hours. I think the main difference here is that we do see a bullish engulfing candle, which is this green candle here, followed by 2 red candles and then a reversal here, and we now see 3 green soldiers. Right, so this is a 12 hours play, meaning each candle represents 4 hours, and we are seeing an upside potential. All right, but of course, very clearly, or I would say kind of, right, the next resistance will be looking at 4750. This is against US dollars, by the way, not against Tether. Okay, so support wise we'll be looking at 4.3 range, right, 4,300. So my personal view is that we will see BTC just ranging between 4.3, 4.7, right? We'll just be ranging between these levels, unless there's a huge volume siding with it, or there's a huge corrective rally, everyone starts going back into BTC, then we'll see BTC ranging up towards $4,900, $5,000. If not, I really feel that the price will still be very heavily suppressed because nothing is set in stone yet, right? Hash war is still ongoing, right? Miners and any mining pool can still say, I'm going to shift towards another place. I'm going to start shifting back to BCH ABC. I'm going to start shifting to mine BCH ABC. Then we see the whole market tanking again. So nothing is concrete right now. All right, so TA doesn't really help much. You can trace back all the way to historical data. You can draw support lines. You can draw whatever. You can look at different analysts saying different things. But at the end of the day, the miners will decide when the bears will end. As simple as that. Okay. Now, when it comes to the 3-day chart, very simply, this is the analysis from this article. Okay, so you can take a look. So basically, I just reiterate what they mentioned right here in a 3-day chart. So they actually drew a drawing of a weekly chart on the article. We're just looking at this 3-day chart. It's a falling wedge. There's a potential of a breakout. But Kumo cloud still shows a huge cloud suppressing the price and volume. We see RSI slightly recovering, very slight movement. MACD is still down heavily. But potentially we may just see, based on Kumo cloud here, recovery may only come in January, on January 13 on January. It will most likely not be coming so soon, unless, like I say, volume picks up. But we do see a huge resistance blocking it, and it's gonna be quite difficult for it to break out. And the thing is, there's a fail safe, right, which is the bottom diagonal line. So nothing is stopping BTC from heading down towards the lower end of this diagonal line of this falling wedge. So BTC can still be falling towards these levels, and hopefully, based on correlation, we do see 3005, and a lot of different analysts saying that 3005 will be the bottom. But you know, this is BTC, this is cryptocurrency world, we never know where it could head to. Alright, so there's no particular support right now that's ongoing. You can trace it back to historical data and try and draw a certain conclusion from it, but you can see that it's heavily supported at 3.5. So I think that's the reason why a lot of analysts are saying that we may drop down to 3.5 just because of historical data. But my theory is very simple, is that as long as the miners are still siding with BCH ABC, as long as less miners are supporting my network, Bitcoin network, and also less confidence therefore come into the market, because investors don't want to see things like a hard fork, don't want to see like a fork war kind of thing, like a war between two particular tokens that have no particular meaning, profit margin, nothing, on paper value, nothing, and they're fighting, and that caused the whole entire market to tank. All right, so it's crazy to them, right? I mean, if you share something like that to mainstream investors or even just institutional traders, they will be like thinking like, why would I want to put money here, right? I might as well just hold on to cash, right? Cash is king right now in the market. So if you have that kind of logic, you will understand that this hash rate war, it's a sentiment killing war, right? It kills off the sentiment. It basically eliminates most upside potential or volume, and it basically just kills off interest, right? People are scared, right? Now that everything is dipping, people would rather just hold cash and just wait out, and that is happening in the market. And remember, Christmas is coming next month in December. No one's gonna make huge buying decision on Christmas during festive season, but what can we say, right? I mean, this happened particularly in November and December, so anything can happen, guys, anything. So all I could give and all I could suggest, guys, is to just be careful if you're holding on to a certain amount of tethers. This is not financial advice, by the way, but if you're holding on to tether, you're holding on to some US dollars and you're thinking what to do, set your support, look at certain support levels that has been historically proven in just this period of time, and you think that it's wise to go into the market, you think that you're holding it for at least 6 months and more, then the price actually doesn't really matter. Anything below $5,000, to be honest, is still a good purchase. Why? Because you're looking this beyond 6 months, then it doesn't really matter. All right, okay, so anyway, let me just quickly look at some of the questions. Okay, so why Bakkt delay because of manipulation, or they want to collect more cheap BTC? Okay, so blockchain technology, good question. I think I answered it just now at the start of the video, but basically my personal view is that Bakkt is currently at a stage of accumulation. It's actually better to accumulate at this moment when BTC is cheap, so that when they launch their service later on and they're really distributing BTC to investors, they will have more at a cheaper rate. Therefore, they're making more profits. All right, and that's one. Second thing is because sentiment is bad. So asking investors to invest in BTC now, it's crazy, right? With the whole overall sentiment of the market tanking, there's a trade war going on between US and China. You have Dow Jones and S&P 500 wiping off their whole 2018 gains. Tech stocks suffering as well. Estimation of profits for this year, 2018, it's kind of lowered. Everything is lowered. And why would institutional investors still want to go into BTC at this moment, right? So think of that in that logic. You will understand what Bakkt is trying to do. It's a very natural thing. I would do that too. Yeah, so you hodl for 6 years, not 6 months, perfect, right? I mean, when the halving do come in 2020, it's good for you. Okay, so what crypto am I invested in? I only tell that to legacy and premier. I think the elite people, they kind of know that what we are looking into. So okay, last question from Kelvin. What if XRP pairing comes into play? Could that turn things around? Now, this is a tough question. Reason being, Ripple, it's kind of centralized, right? Most of you should know. Token holding or circulating supply, I would say not a lot of supply are in the market, right? As most of you should know, most of the out of the total supply, perhaps only 25 or 30 or 40% are in the circulating supply. The rest are either held by the team or the owners themselves. So it's very centralized. But think of it this way. It being centralized is also a good form of hedging out as well. So you kind of see that Ripple is not really it's not really let me just take a look. It's not really that bad, right? It's still going up. In fact, it's one of the better performing token year on year, right? Especially for this year right now. But the key question now I have for you guys is, if Ripple is centralized and that funds and ETFs and whatever that's coming up, even the Switzerland funds, something exchange fund, right? It's also kind of investing into Ripple, holding about 20-30% in Ripple. That's kind of like a good news, right? But the very fact that it's centralized also meant that certain crypto investors, okay, doesn't really like the idea because it's centralized, okay? So it all depends on your perspective. You may look at it as an investment point of view. You may look at it as a trader's point of view. It all depends, okay? I am personally not really a huge hodler or holder for Ripple. I do trade Ripple, that's it. But personally I still believe kind of in cryptocurrency, definitely. I'm still a BTC person. But when you look at Ripple, my key question is what key partnerships are coming up? And also, if they're centralized, what can they do? Because that only meant that they are very heavily controlled, right? And of course, they will have funds, they will have partnerships, but that also meant that it can be manipulated easily by the huge and large token holders. So you may just be back holding for them, you may just be pumping the price for them, and when they dump it on you, that can happen as well. So think about that for a while, okay, as compared to other projects that are not doing the same thing, okay? All right, so anyway, what about more fiat pairings? Okay, Kelvin, I don't really understand your question. More fiat pairing, as in what, Ripple fiat pairing, or you mean in general all fiat pairing? Okay, Crypto Kibu, I think I kind of just mentioned, it's really very hard to kind of just say whether we hit the bottom or not. Like I say, when we truly know we hit the bottom, the only person or only group of people that will know are the miners. Okay, when they decide, or when the mining pools decide, it's time to shift our BCH ABC and let's get back to business and mining BTC and make the profits. That is when the whole market sentiment will pick up. Everything is just based on hash wall right now. Everything is based on mining. But also understand that in terms of POW, which is proof of work, the longer chain is, the better. All right. So think of that, and that's why Bitcoin SV is kind of losing out, because BCH ABC is mining faster than Bitcoin SV. So overall, we question Bitcoin SV adoption. If less exchanges adopt it, it means it's kind of obsolete. So BCH ABC will stand out, and you'll still be the overall main chain of BCH or Bitcoin Cash. All right. So, and then when the miners feel that it's now stabilized, they will start shifting back to BTC. This process can take days, it can take weeks. We have no idea what's going to happen. But all I can say is Christmas is coming, festive season is coming, anything can happen. BTC pump last year from November to all the way to January, anything can happen. All right. So even though we assume that it'll be festival, no one's going to make buying decisions but BTC pump. So who knows, right? All right. Decouple from BTC. Yeah. So fiat pairings for fiat. Okay. Now, it's kind of difficult to say. Okay, last question from Kelvin. It's very difficult to say whether fiat pairings are better or whether BTC pairings are better. Personal take would be, for now, BTC or against BTC pairings are better because BTC price isn't doing that well. If you look in terms of tethers or in terms of fiat pairings, once BTC price starts picking up, most different odds will start going up in terms of US dollar price as well. So in general, it's all up to your time horizon. It's up to you to decide which particular trade will be more worth it. I'm personally looking at more of a Satoshi gain than US dollar gain. I'm not really concerned about US dollar value because I know I'm in a long-term game. You are only concerned for US dollars gain for two reasons. One, you are a trader. You want to take profit regularly to support your own self. Two, you are concerned about US dollar value because you need it for cash flow, you need it for other stuff. If you're not, you only be concerned about Satoshi gains because by 2020, when halving comes in, US dollar value, it's nothing, right? It's all about Satoshi back then, at that period of time. Okay. Alright, so thank you guys. I think that's all the time I have for you guys. Thank you for tuning in. For more greatest update, they will all be on Legacy and Elite Group. We're starting our group next year in 2019 in January. We'll be changing some of the dynamics here and there. CG is currently having a lot of discussion in terms of dynamics and also in terms of how our group will be crafted next year. So tune in. We'll be giving more updates on CG Market Watch Live. And thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you in the next episode.